we need to talk about the top 3 vampire movies ever.
Okay.
And how can Sinners get itself to that top 3? I don't think it's a very high bar, put it that way. I think Sinners, especially when we're talking about box office, I mean, when it comes to movies, Twilight kills the top 5 box office for vampire movies. The 5th one is I Am Legend, made $77 million opening weekend. I don't think Sinners can hit those numbers. Maybe it can, but I think when it comes to quality, top 3 vampire movies is not a tough nut to crack. Do you have anything you want to throw out there?
I will say that none of those movies, Twilight or any of that, makes my list at all.
Not going to make it. No.
It doesn't make my list at all.
What about Dracula Dead and Loving It?
That I might put that on the list.
Movie. I love
as
that
one
movie.
of the funniest movies Mel Brooks
It's
ever
so
made.
great.
Unquestionably.
It's great.
Easily one of Liam Neeson's easily one of Leslie Nielsen's best movies.
Easily.
Dracula Dead and Loving It. Not only is
That
Dracula
also scared me. It's scary.
Not only is Dracula Dead and Loving It really funny, but it is at times a shot-for-shot remake of the original Dracula.
It is.
In a very, in my personal opinion, very impressively so.
Yes, I agree. I don't think it's making the cut, though.
I don't think it's making the cut
judging
either.
by Tony nodding his head, I'm going to say definitely not.
You did bring up a movie that I think makes the cut. Interview with the Vampire is my favorite vampire movie.
I disagree. I'm going to strike that one down. I'm going to veto that.
Well, before you veto it, I love that movie because I think it is so artfully done. I think it is very, very sexy in its own right. I think it's a great story that is told. I love the story that it's based off of. I love the actors and the way they go about it. And it's still to this day, you can watch that movie like on TBS on a random Friday night and be captivated, be taken away into a period piece that is very, very interesting story that takes you all the way through. It's also heartbreaking at times and terrifying at times. I think Interview with a Vampire needs to be on this list. And if you're going to veto it, I'd love to hear 3 movies that beat it out.
First of all, Interview with a Vampire is very artfully and tastefully made, and the cast is undeniably incredible. But it is long and boring, and that's not what I think of when I think of vampire movies.
Oh, good. Kellerman's long and boring argument.
So we're going to start with Blade.
Let's go to Abraham Lincoln's
So we're going to
Vampire
start
Hunter.
with Blade as the best vampire movie that
It's not
there's
the
ever
best,
been.
but it's definitely very good.
Blade's on my list. I'm not
Blade's
going to argue
on the
about
list.
Blade.
Great.
Blade is
Okay,
on my
at
list.
least we can
Blade
agree
1,
on Blade.
Excellent. You know, I have
And Blade Trinity, maybe.
I have 2 that are more in the art house. One is a comedy, one is not. Let the right one in.
It's on my short list. It's
also
on my short
boring as hell.
Oh, you're completely wrong.
2 kids trying to decide if you should come
Dude,
home with them. So boring.
You're such
I've seen the Swedish version. I've seen the American remake. They're both
The
so
Swedish version
boring.
is one of the best movies I've seen in my life.
So
Hold
boring.
on. Take the American remake and throw it out a window.
Yes.
We're never talking about the American remake again. I'm with you
Both
on the original.
versions.
Okay.
So boring.
Well, if you don't want to go there, a comedy that was also made into a TV show, What We Do in the Shadows. Excellent movie.
Fantastic movie. On my short list. Didn't make my top 3. Another one that is on my short list. Didn't make my top 3, but I'm surprised neither of you have brought it up yet. Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes. That was probably going to be the next one that I threw out. But I don't think that From Dusk Till Dawn is a particularly great movie.
It's not.
It just was very impactful in my personal
great movie.
childhood.
Sure, because it's Quinten Tarantino at his horniest.
And Robert Rodriguez together.
At their horniest.
Yeah.
And at the height of their powers, right after Pulp Fiction.
Did we mention
right
they're
after
horny?
Desperado.
I would not say height of their powers. I would say this is a really terrible movie that people love for certain scenes in it, and Quentin Tarantino loves because he licked the feet of a certain someone.
I don't agree.
Do we
It's a
have to put
terrible
a
movie.
Dracula movie on the
No.
list? I think we do.
No, I don't
Bram
think you do.
Stoker's Dracula?
No, I just rewatched Bram Stoker's
Then-
Dracula, and it literally makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
I'm also not putting either of the Nosferatus on here.
So what are we putting on this list,
well,
Tony?
hold on a second. Not even like the original Nosferatu?
Sure, but if we're going to do that, we have to go through all the lists that we have other than like Jack Black movies and take the original movie and be like, well, you can't get better than that. You can't. It's been 100 years. It's been 100 years.
It's
There have
not
been
the
better
best
movies.
one, but it certainly is like...
Right,
All right.
but there have been better movies.
It
right.
influenced all
So,
of cinema.
Blade is on there.
Blade.
I still haven't heard any movies better than Interview with a Vampire, but there's one movie that we haven't talked about yet that I think needs to be on this list, even better than What We Do in the Shadows, even more pivotal than Let the Right One In, The Lost Boys with Kiefer Sutherland.
I don't love The Lost Boys,
Oh,
but
I love it.
I might
You
agree
haven't
that
loved
it
a
should
single
go on
movie
the
we've said.
list of influential vampire movies.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I love The Lost Boys. And also,
It's a classic.
It inspired a band's name when the guy gets killed and the little actor comes up the ladder and goes, "Oh, Death by Stereo." There's an actual band named Death by Stereo. I've always found that cool. I love The Lost
You're a
Boys.
Death by Stereo fan, huh? Fine, we could throw the Lost Boys on there. I'm sure the court of public opinion will love that.
Yeah.
I would put The Lost Boys over Interview with a Vampire.
You're
Well,
wrong.
what's the third one then? Because I'm not putting Let the Right One In and What We Do in the Shadows over Interview with a Vampire.
I think Interview with the Vampire should be on there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, then I'll concede.
Well, what's your movie then? We're not putting Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
That was a terrible movie. I wouldn't suggest it.
We're going Blade. Yeah, TJ's got one from the rafters.
Embrace of the Vampire, Alyssa Milano.
No.
Interview with the Vampire it is. So, the top 3 vampire movies, unfortunately, are Blade,
Yes.
The Lost Boys,
Totally.
Interview with the Vampire.
I guess.
Let us know what you think in the comments. We're definitely wrong.
And Ken,